There's an old American adage that states, "Don't believe everything you read in the newspapers." That is the case with the current immigration situation in the Dominican Republic. All those articles that state that it used to be the law that anyone born in the Dominican Republic was automatically born a Dominican citizen are wrong. Since 1929, the Dominican Republic has limited jus soli. What is jus soli? Jus soli is the Latin word for right of the soil. It is the principle that a person automatically gets the citizenship of the country they are born in. Since 1929, it has been a Dominican law that you needed at least one parent who was either a Dominican citizen or a legal resident. So you mean the law is not like the United States? No! How can it be that everyone born in the Dominican Republic gets automatic citizenship, when the previous Dominican Constitution set forth these limits? Excluded are people in transit or the legitimate children of foreign diplomats residing in the country. So many people have asked, how can you be in transit if you have lived in the Dominican Republic for years or your family has been there for generations? Reasonable people can and do disagree over the interpretation of laws. What you think means one thing means another thing to somebody else. When that happens, there is a lawsuit in the courts. The Dominican courts have consistently ruled that the children of immigrants who entered the Dominican Republic illegally are not automatically citizens at birth. TC/0168/13, the decision of the Constitutional Tribunal, the Dominican Republic's highest court, agreed with the lower courts and affirmed their decision. This decision did not change Dominican citizenship law. What about the 2010 change to the Dominican Constitution? That change was made because so many misunderstood the in-transit clause, so it was changed to make clear that the Dominican Republic only has limited jus soli. When examining a law, one looks at the legislative intent for a law. If the Dominican Republic intended for everyone born in the country to automatically get Dominican citizenship, it would not have set forth limits in the first place. How could it be the legislative intent to give greater legal rights and citizenship to the children of parents who entered illegally over those who actually did enter legally? For example, if a tourist gives birth in the Dominican Republic, that child is not a Dominican citizen, even though his mother entered the country legally. Therefore, how can the child of an illegal immigrant get greater rights than that of the tourist who entered the country legally? For instance, years ago, the Dominican Supreme Court argued that for as long as parents in legal status under certain de transito categories were excluded from jus soli privilege, illegal residents needed to also be excluded, simply as a matter of judicial consistence. No one should gain additional legal benefits as a consequence of falling outside the rule of law. The Dominican courts concluded this because it was the logical decision. At least since 1939, a valid Dominican birth declaration has required parents to show valid, officially issued identification cards known as cedulas. Those who entered the Dominican Republic illegally cannot obtain such governmental identifications. Dominican Law 659 from July 17, 1944 states the requirements for a valid birth certificate. It says the parents must provide their cedula numbers. This law is from 1944. It is over 70 years old. It is not retroactive. Therefore, nobody has been stripped of Dominican citizenship. That is a false rumour. Instead, people were mistaken about their citizenship status. So what is the Dominican government's response to this? Decision TC/0168/13 calls for the implementation of a regularization plan. There was an audit of those who were found to be in irregular status. If it was determined that the birth certificates, etc., were obtained by mistake of the Dominican government and not by fraud, then that person is given Dominican nationality. If the documents are found to be fraudulent, then the person is subject to deportation. Incidentally, the same thing happens in the United States. Fraudulent documents are not honoured. Some children do grow up thinking they are American citizens, but find out as adults that they were wrong. When that happens, the United States does not give them American citizenship. At no time was the Dominican Republic planning to deport everyone found to be in irregular status. That was a false rumour. On the contrary, The Dominican government created the regularization plan to fix the legal status of foreigners who were in irregular status. Every case is examined individually. So why all the false information in the news? Because there are those that want to make the Dominican Republic change its citizenship law so that all children born in the country are automatically Dominican citizens at birth, and they use the media to accomplish these goals. Nevertheless, every sovereign country has the right to determine its own immigration laws. Approximately 145 out of 194 countries do not have automatic birthright citizenship. The Dominican Republic is in the majority of countries that does not have unlimited birthright citizenship. Please look at the sources cited and see for yourself. Thank you for listening.